Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akim Nakwat out there, pursuing his truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, If You Are Being Holy, Your Friends Will Never See Eye to Eye with You. Okay, and I put this together on my phone, and it looked a little longer than it was. So really, friends should have a quotations, right? Because they're not really, truly a friend, all right? So if you are being holy, which we are commanded to be, by the way, if you are being holy, your friends will never see eye to eye with you. So I want to open up with the scripture that details us to be holy, right? You can get 1 Peter 1 and 16, or you can get 1 Peter 1 and 15. All right, we'll just start with 15, all right, and then we'll go up. It says, 1 Peter 1 and 15, but as he which hath called you is holy, that's speaking of the Father, all right, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. So in all manners, all right, in all ways, right, be you as well holy, okay? Be holy as well, okay? In verse 16, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. So the Lord wants you to be holy because he is holy himself. Now, what does it mean to be holy, right? If you're being holy, you should understand what holy means, right? And we can use this very same scripture here, okay? Well, this is actually going to get us something different because we're in the, as you can see, there should be a divider, but this is the New Testament. Usually there's a there it is. As you can see, we're down here, right? We're down here in the Old Testament, or in the New Testament. This is the Old Testament up here. So it's actually going to be a different word, but I'll go and show you. But the word we're looking for is Quadash. It's not going to be Quadash when we grab this, or as the fake us's, all right, would call it Kadosh. It's not Kadosh, all right, it's Quadash, all right. Now this is in the Greek, all right, of course, because we're in 1 Peter 1 and 6, we're in the New Testament, all right. So you can scroll down, you can look at the word holy. It's going to be hagios, okay, which is going to be around about the same thing. All right, hagios, most holy thing, a saint. Now it says sacred, physically pure, morally blameless, or religious, ceremonial, consecrated, most holy one thing, or saint. Now, great definitions, all right, but it's not the best because they're forgetting one of the main parts of what being holy entails, okay? Now, if we go to the Old Testament, we just type in holy and get something from the Old Testament. Like, for example, here in Exodus 3 and 5, all right, when the Lord was commanding, was this Moses? Yeah, Moses. All right, I double guessed myself. I do that a lot. It's better to do that than to say something that blatantly is wrong. But yeah, he was talking to Moses, and he told him to take off his shoes because he was walking on holy ground. And the word holy, you're going to see it's going to be Quadash. There we are. Right? And this is why it's so important to get the Hebrew, all right, and go into the Hebrew, because a lot of meaning would be lost by just getting the Greek translation and hagios. Okay, you need the original Hebrew. Mind you, that the Father and the Son are Hebrew. They speak Hebrew, all right? And they did speak Hebrew, and they do speak Hebrew, and they are Hebrew, okay? Son, all right? But, so, Hebrew, and that's our, this is our language, all right? This is our original language, all right, is the Paleo-Hebrew, all right? Of course, we're translating into Paleo-Hebrew from modern, Aramaic, really like a form of Yiddish, really modern Hebrew, which is just really a bastardized form. All right, if you really want to get down to it, it's just a bastardized form of Paleo Hebrew. All right, which is the true Hebrew. It's just a bastardized version. All right, what does it mean to bastardize something? Let's look it up.
Bastardize.
All right, change in such a way to lower its quality or value, typically by adding new elements. All right, other word would be to corrupt, contaminate, to weaken. All right, to pollute, to foul. All right, and devalue, degrade. All right, and it's they've bastardized it. They bastardized the Lashawan Quadash. All right, which is the holy tongue. All right, which is the OG. OG standing for original, not original gangster, but OG as original. It's the original. All right, I won't abbreviate it. It's the original Hebrew. All right, the original language that we were speaking, the language that the Father and the Son spoke, and the prophets as well. Now, of course, you had later on, of course, they were speaking other languages as well. But, the original language is this Paleo-Hebrew. So you got to be able to understand it. You got to be able to get it. The Father and the Son's name is in Paleo-Hebrew. So, without understanding the fundamentals of Paleo-Hebrew, you won't even be able to get the Father and the Son's name. If you don't got that, then you're just asked out. So you see here, it says Kodesh, but it's really Quadash. All right, Quadash. All right, you can actually, I guess I can prove it real quick. Not that I have to go into it every single time, but you can go and see. Qua, all right, QA is Ka, Qua, all right. So, Qua, all right, that'd be QA. Again, it's going to be written different than it's pronounced, because there's just the same thing with English. Things are written a certain type of way, but there's certain things that are silenced or you cut off if it's in a bigger word. Same type of context in Hebrew. So, Qua, Da, all right, so Da, and then Shah. All right, but you drop the A. So, really it'd be QA and then dash, QA dash, as you can see. Could have done it right here. I could have just done this. All right, Quadash. All right, so that's Quadash. All right, not Quadash. All right, Quadash. All right, Quadash. It's Quadash. Kadash is closer than Kodesh. Okay, but it's Quadash. All right, Quadash. All right, not Kadash, but I won't say it's better because you're still mispronouncing it, but it's Quadash, not Kodesh. It's Quadash. Okay, mind you, ancient Hebrew, modern Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew, modern Hebrew. So, so Quadash. And it means apart, holiness, sacredness, separateness, apartness, set apartness. Okay, set apart. Okay, set apart. What does it mean to be set apart? All right, a thing, a dedicated thing, a hallowed, holiness. All right, different, holy. What does it mean to be set apart? Okay, to be singled out, distinguished, or separated for a special purpose. Okay, so in this case, it's being holy, to be made holy and dedicated to a sacred purpose, as in a biblical sense of being chosen by Yahweh. Separation for a higher purpose, to be distinguished from the world or others, to live according to a specific, often higher standard. Okay, so if you're being holy, all right, if you're being separate, your friends are never going to see eye to eye with you, because you are Quadash, all right? You are separate, you are holy, you are set apart, you are different. They're going to think, it talks about, with these people, it says, it talks about really the people in the world, and woe unto these people that call evil good and good evil, all right? That put light for dark and dark for light, that put sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet, all right? So, that's how your friends are, all right? All the things that you think are good, they're going to think is bad. All the bad things, all right, they're going to think are good. All right, they're going to think it's good that you have sexual freedom as a woman, that you get with all these different people. They're going to think it's good that you explore yourself and smoke weed, because it's just a plant. Now, you can consume marijuana, you just can't smoke it. All right, you shouldn't be using it off the purpose to just get as fucked up as you want. Right? If you want to use it in a medical, a medicinal purpose, in a medicinal way, you have anxiety, or you have trouble sleeping or pains or something like that, and you're using it for it is an herb after all. The Lord gave us herbs. Turn that down, it's quite loud. And the Lord gave us herbs. The Lord gave us herbs, right? You just can't abuse them. Okay, like for example, you can have nutmeg, right? You just can't, if you take enough nutmeg, it's rumored that you can get fucked off of all of it. Now that's just being wicked because you're just trying to specifically use it as a form of witchcraft, all right? Pharmakeia, all right? Just to get high, okay? Now, just getting as fucked up as you can, right? Not the way you should be using it, okay? But so 1 Peter 1:16, because it is written, be holy, for I am holy. They're going to be on a completely different mindset because they're not in the truth and you are. Okay, so that's why friends are in quotation. Now, what is even the definition of friend? I don't know. What's defined friend?
Friend.
Okay, a friend, a person whom one knows and and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexuality or family relations. So a friend. You know what? Let's go and look up. Let's see what the real definition is. Friends. Ooh. Philos. All right, philos.
Strong's G 5384. Philos. Philos.
All right, just a friend. One who associates familiarity with one. He who associates familiarity with one. So familiarity. So someone you know. That's more of a an acquaintance. Okay. Let's go and look up. Find out what it really means.
Strong's H 7453. Rea. Rea.
Rea. Okay, a friend, a companion, a fellow, another person. Close, brother, a companion. Could also mean a husband or a lover. So look at that. So, you really are, your spouse is a friend. Okay. And, let's go to the root word. Rea. Which means, a special friend, companions, associate. So, it's not going to really go much deeper of other than a person you know and you hang around. All right, that's a friend. But most of the time with friends, I don't know about you, most of the times with people I've had that were friends, we have a similar thinking pattern, or we're into the similar things, right? We're into the same video games, or we're into the same music, or multitude of same things, right? And that's why we're friends. So, you have these people you're calling friends, and you brought them in. First of all, they're not friends with you. They're friends with the old man, all right? Or woman, all right? If you happen to be a lady. So, they're friends with that person you were before you came to the truth. So, they're really never, as now that you're in the truth, they're never going to see eye to eye with you. And if you continue to be friends with them, you're not wicked, all right, because you hang around them. It's just not really an expedient thing to do. You're not going to gain anything from it. It's not a gainful, it's not going to be a gainful situation, all right? You're not going to get anything out of it other than just issue, all right? Because I guarantee it, you don't believe me, stay friends with these people, and there's going to be issues that pop up. You're just going to see. They're going to be saying things that are just going to vex you because, they're not in the truth, all right? They can't see eye to eye, okay? Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? And we use this a lot for, people, like we couldn't teach with people that are teaching something. We can't teach with a Christian, all right, because they're teaching something different. And I can't be friends with like a Christian like that, man. I just can't, because you're so fundamentally different that what do we share in common? Okay, we might like the same football team. All right, we can be acquaintances, but I can never call you as a friend. Okay, I can never call you as a friend. You're not someone. A friend is someone I can be completely comfortable with. I can talk, about whatever with. Right, I don't have to worry about offending them. I don't have to worry about saying something that's gonna piss them off. I can say, oh, those fucking, those fucking faggots over there, these motherfuckers, and they're not gonna be like, actually, I support them. None of that. You're gonna be in, can two walk together except they be agreed? Can you really have a friend unless you're in some type of agreement with them? You can't really walk together amongst that person, all right? Because if you have a person that's trying to walk the left path and you're trying to walk the right, how are you supposed to walk? Okay, he's I was going down the right. You can't really stay together. You're too fundamentally different from each other, right? You have a vegan can't be friends with a carnivore, right? Someone on a carnivore diet, because they're just gonna be, why are you eating that meat? You should stop eating that. You really need to stop doing all that. That was a living animal at one time. You need to show her some respect and let that animal rot and just die for nothing instead of eating it. Right? That's how I feel about vegans, but the meat market's going to continue to produce meat. So, and the Lord, his associates, they all ate meat. So you're going to say he's wrong? So get out of here. But, you can't be on, locked in on a one accord with someone that's in a completely different lifestyle. Like, I couldn't be friends with a drug dealer. I'm completely against that. I can't be friends with someone who's constantly getting abortions. I'm against that. I can't be friends with, a heroin addict. Now, if I was a heroin addict, I'm sure we could be great friends. But I don't do that. Okay, we're not agreed, so we can't walk together. Okay, we're not going to see eye to eye. We're not going to be on the same level. Okay, so if you don't know what seeing eye to eye means, you can look that up. All right, most people know what that means, but if you're not on the same and you're not on the same level, okay? Seeing eye to eye means, seeing eye to eye, you're not above or below them. You're at eye level. You're seeing them for what they are. You're seeing them for what you are. They're seeing you for what you are. You're seeing them for what they are. And it's not the case. There's people at my job that say, oh, you're a cool guy, this and that. I'm not boasting. I'm just giving you an example. And they wouldn't think I'm a cool guy if they really knew who I was. All right, most of them, if they knew what I thought about the heathens, what I knew was going to happen to heathens, and how I'm for it, and what the Lord's going to do, and I'm for that, and how I hate this place, and I don't like these heathens, and I don't like these homosexuals, and I don't like these effeminate men, and I don't like these feminists, and I don't like these, these bossy-ass women and these fucking sissy-ass men. They wouldn't like me. All right, you said some funny things, or we like the same movie, that would fly out the damn window. All right, and they would not think about those things anymore. They would be focused on how they would say hateful, all right, I am, because I'm not on the same mindset as them. Now, if I was down with the clowns, with all this Babylonian customs, they'd have no issue. All right, now back in the world, I could have been friends with this type of person because I would have been like that, right? I would have been worldly like they were, all right? Probably easily persuaded like they were, right? So, and not really easily persuaded. I've always been a fucking stubborn asshole even back in the world, but, it's just one of those things, I can't see eye to eye, with someone like that. All right, I can't be on the same plane as someone like that. All right, I can't be friends with a homosexual. I just can't. There's no way that I could. Okay, it just doesn't work. Okay, it just doesn't. Okay, I remember there was this guy at my job. He was ex-army guy. When he came in, he was trying to, fit in and all this stuff. We had a lot of gay people that worked there, and I mentioned that a long time ago in my lessons when I first started working there, and even a year after or so. And he was trying to fit in, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm bisexual." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not fucking bisexual." He's like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "I just fucking know. Just know you're not, dude." And he's like, "I am. I did stuff in He's like, "When I was in the military, I did gay stuff." I'm like, "Are you doing gay stuff now?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, now that you're out of the military, do you think you'd ever do it again?" And he's like, "No, I probably would never do it again." I'm like, "Then you're not fucking gay, all right? You just, you were, all right? If you're not gonna do it again, and you did it, and you don't have any, you're not attracted to men, you were gay, you did some gay shit, but you're not gay now, okay? To be gay, you have to be currently attracted to." And he's like, "Well, I'm bisexual." I'm like, "Well, I've decided that you're not." I've told him that. I said, "I've decided you're not." He's like, "You've decided that I'm not?" He said, "What are you, the fucking government?" I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I've decided that you're not. And you know what? After that, he never said he was bisexual again. Never even thought about it. The guy wasn't bisexual. All right, he probably did some fucking gay shit in the military, but that's and you shouldn't have done that. But you were gay, you did some gay shit. But if you didn't, if you came to the truth and you did some shit in the past, that don't make you gay currently. You did some gay shit in the past, and you were gay in the past, but you're not anymore, right? So you can't if I can't say that for example, putting on something that I have done I can't say that I'm a pork eater, right? I've ate pork in the past, but I'm not a pork eater. I don't do it now, so I'm not a pork eater. So if someone was gay and they came in, they're not gay anymore, all right? They were gay, right? Past tense. So, people like that, they'll try to fit in and shit. And that's the other thing, you can't try to lower yourself to fit in, all right? And I have a habit with that sometimes. You got to be careful around the people that you're at. Especially I have a problem with being around hood rats, all right? Because, if you have a hood-like you came from a hood-like mentality, a hood rat state of mind, a New York state of mind, all right? You came from a hood ass fucking ghetto ass fucking mindset, all right? When you get around those people, you got to be careful that it don't slip in. I try to stay away from those people as much as possible because it will come back, all right? Unfortunately, the demons will get on you. You'll start joking too much, and then you fall into that that ninja mindset, and I don't want to be there, all right? I don't want to be there, and I don't mean it as in putting off the truth, but you get into that motherfucker said something, man, I'll bust him in his goddamn face, man. I ain't with that shit. Stop playing with me, man. Respect my gangster, all right? So, you ain't gotta, you don't want to be around people like that because it's gonna bring that. They have that energy, man, and they're like fucking energy vortexes when you're around they'll people, man. They push that energy out onto you around all these demons. And you got to be very careful, man. So this is, if you have people around that you can get away from, then get away from them, man. It's of course, we're limited at work, but if they're just some people that come around, that's fucking, you cannot hang out with them anymore, right? Let me grab a drink. All right, they ain't your goddamn daddy, all right? You don't have to hang out with their ass. 2 Thessalonians 3:6. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, that you would draw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly, and not after the tradition which he received of us. So there you go. So, that's pretty simple. All right. Anybody that's walking disorderly, disorder, unorder, order was set up by Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, order was originally, not the first time, but the order that we're under currently was set up when after Yahweh after Yahweh spoke to Moses on the mountain, right, and created the law. All right, it's established the law. Okay, that's the order that we're under. All right, the Lord's order. All right, and part of his order is the law. So if you're walking outside of that, right, then you're being disorderly, and you don't want to be around no disorderly people. It says disorderly and not after the tradition which he received of us, the tradition after Yahweh Shemi Shai. Okay, just don't hang around those people. All right, you're supposed to withdraw yourselves from those type of people. Like I said, are you wicked if you have a worldly friend? No, you're not really, but I'm just saying it's not gonna amount to anything, and it'd be best. And that's why the scriptures, talk about you withdrawing yourself from these people, because nothing good can come of it. You got to think about it. What possibly good? Well, they're my friends. Yeah, but they're still worldly, man, and you're not. Okay? You can't mix, it's like that old Mobb Deep lyric, put us together. It's like mixing vodka and melt, right? You know what happens if you mix vodka and melt? Fucking curdles, all right? Or it might not curdle, but it doesn't taste very well. Okay? It doesn't taste very well. Okay? There's ways to mix liquor, and that's not it. Okay, so Proverbs 4:14-15, it says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. So just get away from it. Don't, because the simple fact of the matter is that you hang around with a bunch of blunt smoking hoodlums, you're eventually going to turn back into a blunt smoking hoodlum. Or if you never were a blunt smoking hoodlum, you're going to be one. Okay, you're going to be one. Okay, I don't hang around people like that. All right, now I'm fairly confident, that through Yahweh Shemi Shai, that even if someone was smoking a blunt next to me, I ain't gonna, hey man, give me that. right? But why would you? I don't want to be around that. Why would I be around it? Now I like the smell of weed. Don't get me wrong. All right, someone had some weed. Someone had weed at my job the other day, and they're like, "Yo, one of the coworkers, they're like, someone gave me some weed. Did you want some?" I'm like, "I don't want some. I'll smell it though." All right, because I used to smoke weed and all that shit, right? I don't anymore, right? I'm not saying I'm completely opposed to using marijuana. I don't currently, but if I was having issues sleeping, or you get anxiety attacks or something, like, first of all, you need to pray. All right, but I'm not opposed to using or sleep or pain. I'm not opposed to using marijuana. Oh no, marijuana. No, marijuana is a medicinal herb. Okay, it can be used good as well as it can be used bad. Okay, now you can't smoke it. You can use it topically. All right, they have THC and CBD oils that are topical. All right, they have, and THC is the psychoactive chemical. All right, but that makes you feel quote unquote high. But if you don't have at least a little bit of that, because people say, oh, CBD doesn't work. All right, CBD does not work. I've used it before. It doesn't do anything. All right, it does not do anything. All right, it might help with, I think CBD, the only thing it really is functional as is a slight muscle relaxant. But muscle relaxers, mind you, are not painkillers. They are two different classifications. A muscle relaxer relaxes muscles. All right, it helps with muscular pain and stuff like that. But THC, all right, helps with whether it be, it helps with a lot of different things. It can help with not psychoactive, but psychological issues, right? Whether it be depression, whether it be anxiety, all right, whether it be sleep. Okay, sleep is not something that's impacted by muscles. All right, it's something, it's a long process that's all mental. Okay, and physical sometimes. If your body's in pain, you won't be able to get sleep. But that's where THC comes in. But it also just happens to be the chemical that's psychoactive, the AKA that makes you feel high. But in lower amounts, it'll make you feel relaxed without feeling like you're fucking geeked, right? Not like you're fucking whacked out of your mind over here, and there's different strains and different shit, like I said. But like, if you don't feel comfortable with using it, just don't use it. All right, use your discernment. If you don't feel like it's a good thing for you to do, then don't do it. All right, it's that simple. But at the end of the day, it is an herb. All right, and brothers aren't to be demonized because they use it medicinally. All right, whether they brew it in a tea or eat it in a brownie or whatever. I wouldn't try to eat it in a brownie. I'd try to find if you're gonna do that, if you're going to use cannabis like that medicinally, the best way you could probably do it, I would say probably, because you can get gummies that, as long as they're like got pectin and not gelatin. Some people still eat gelatin. I don't do it. I personally wouldn't recommend it myself, but I'm not going to say those that do are wrong. I personally wouldn't, because it's almost 100% always pork. But I personally would not. And plus, a lot of the stuff with gelatin is all garbage, junk food anyway that you don't need to be eating. But personally, the way I would do it is, and if I had to take a gummy, I'd just do a gummy. But if I had the money, all right, to do it, the best way to probably do it, if you're using it long-term medicinally, would probably be make can of butter. All right, just turn it into butter, because butter's healthy. All right, you could probably even find a way to make to mix it into like a ghee or like a tallow. All right, like a beef tallow. You could probably render it through that. All right, through the process. I can't remember what it's called. I almost said saponification. That's the process of making soap. There's a process that goes out with cannabinoids. All right, when they're mixed in with I don't know, a fat or an oil. I don't know. An oil is essentially a fat, and it's heated to a certain degree. It's an activation process occurs, right? Like if you were just to eat a nugget of weed, it's not going to do anything. But anyway, now I'm just rambling about herbs and marijuana and all that different type of stuff. But yeah, so like I said, you're going to hang around those type of people, and you're going to you don't want to tempt yourself or put yourself in a bad situation, all right, where anything could happen. Anything could happen. You just don't want to do it. Like I said, I went on a long tangent. Marijuana by itself is not it's not wicked, all right, to consume cannabis unless you're specifically doing it to see, oh, how high can I fucking get? I'm gonna get fucked up, right? Now, like I said, medicinally, that's fine. From what I've heard, at least, I don't think you can use it to get like a buzz out of. I don't think so. Not like alcohol where you can do it to take the edge off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not too well versed on that, so I would try to maybe contact the apostles if you want more information about that. Of Great Millstone, of course, whom I'm not affiliated with. I'm just an affiliate. That's it. Just by teaching the same thing that they teach. All right, so that's that's the way I'm affiliated, essentially, is by teaching the same thing they teach. All right, I learn from them. All right, I don't have all the information. All right, I'm not as filled with wisdom as they are. All right, as far as, of course, I mean, they've been teaching for 30 years. All right, I've been at it for 5. So they're going to have a lot more answers, and they're going to have a lot more wisdom and knowledge to back it up with. So I'm still a baby in this truth. So if you want more deep stuff, you're going to have to get the apostles for that. All right. So Proverbs 13:20 says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." And I like this scripture really here because it's very exemplary. Is that a word, exemplary? Let me see.
Exemplary.
All right, it's very exemplary, all right, of what type of person you are, what you attract, essentially, right? That type of energy. And, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise. So if he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, what do you think he is that walks with dumbasses? What do you think he is that walks with wicked people? All right? Think about it. So, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Why? Because he is also a fool. And that goes on to say in verse 21, "Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid." So, there you go, man. Yeah, so, let's get Proverbs 24:1. Oops. I whack my mic all the way over the other side. Let's get Proverbs 24:1. It says, "Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them." Don't even desire to hang around these people, man. There's nothing that they can give you. All right, nothing that they can give you. Not at all. 32 minutes, gotcha. So, I want to check how long we were doing. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, man, don't even desire to go around those type of people. They're not going to be good for you. They're not going to, nothing good's going to come of it, right? So Ecclesiasticus 13:1, it says, "He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him." So again, he that walketh with wise people is going to be wise. Okay. All right. Who has as the scripture said, let's go and get the scripture again. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. Slakia, overthinking again. So if you walk with wise people, you're going to be wise. And then down here it says, he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. So he that walketh with wise is going to be wise, and he that has fellowship with a proud man is going to be like him. So he that has fellowship with a proud man is going to be proud. So if you hang out with a stoner, if you hang out with a harlot, if you hang out with an adulterer, if you hang out with a heathen, Lord already said, "Learn not the way of the heathen." If you hang out with a heathen, you're only going to learn the ways of the heathen. They don't know, anything scriptural. They don't know anything good. All right, they're just heathen at the end of the day. They don't know nothing. So here's Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, right? 13:1. Salakia. We already got that. I just forgot to mark it off. Sirach, still in Sirach, but 27:12. Okay. And that reads, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 27:12. "If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding." Let's go and translate this into GNT. Let's see what it says. Hopefully it gives us something good. Fire. It says, Sirach 27:12, "When you find yourself with stupid people, look for some excuse to leave. But when you are with serious-minded people, stay as long as you can." Perfect. Okay, of course, Sirach 27:12. It's good in the writing as it is, but that explains everything, man. If you're being holy, your friends will never see eye to eye with you, okay? They're just not. They're not going to see eye to eye with you because they're on a different level, a lower level, lower vibration. And you're on a higher level, higher vibration. So they're not going to see eye to eye with you, man. They're just not. So that's the lesson. All right, Lord Willing was edifying. If you have any questions or anything like that, just drop them down below. Lord Willing was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.